Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Angie Analyze Wine. So today we're going to talk about champagne glasses and what is the proper champagne glass to use now. So let's get right to it. In the early 1920s, the most popular style champagne glasses look like this. Ta-da! So this is what we call a coupe, or it looks a lot like a martini glass. It is still fairly popular nowadays during wedding and special celebration events because you can essentially build it into a pyramid and or a what we call champagne towers, and people can start pouring the big bottles of champagne from top and just drizzle down. Is quite a spectacle, and the reason why this is not the most popular champagne glass anymore is because, as you can tell by the way it looks, it's quite shallow and it's really wide like a martini glass. And what happened is, when it comes to champagne, one of the enjoyments to watch the beautiful bubbles raise from the bottom of the glass. This kind of with a glass like this, you don't really get that visual enjoyment. And on top of that, as you're walking and socializing, when you have a shallow glass, it's very easy to spill. And lastly, because there's such a big surface area compared to the volume of alcohol, you do also lose that fizziness fairly quickly once you fill up a glass of champagne. Fun side story that the coupe style of champagne glasses was rumored to have been formed and shaped on Marie Antoinette's bosom. So apparently they used the shape of her breast to make the first classic coupe. Not sure if it's a true story, but hey, I love a story and makes it easier to remember. So that's that. There's still a time and a place generally during weddings and celebration, but generally if you're just enjoying champagne at home or out in the restaurant, I would not recommend this kind of glass. All right, so we're gonna go to champagne glass number 2. Done! So this is champagne glass number 2. This is what we call a flute. And flute is still, I think, currently the most widely recognized and used champagne glasses. It's almost kind of like the pendulum swung the other way once we realized the coupe glasses is not very ideal for serving champagne. A lot of people came up with the idea of a flute. So the flutes, well, long and skinny, so of course you have the maximum amount of room for the bubble to rise slowly from the bottom to the top, and it looks amazing when you're serving it. But unfortunately, it is no longer the best utensil to serve a glass of champagne, and this is why a lot of a champagne maker and a lot of a sommelier have noticed that champagne, just like every other wine, 85% of your enjoyment is through smelling the wine. And when you have a glass that is so long and skinny, with not a whole lot of room on top, there's really not a lot of room for you to stick your nose in the glass and or swirl the wine to get a aeration of the wine coming out of the glass. So even though this is still currently the most widely seen champagne glasses out in restaurants and most people's home, and what most people saw online and in the store, but this is no longer what we will consider the best kind of glass to use for champagne. So you might ask, what is the best champagne glass nowadays? Let me tell you. Ta-da! Here you have it. So this is what we call kind of a tulip shape glass. This is now where all the fancy Michelin star restaurant and also all the geeky wine people and sommelier are using to serve their champagne. So this glass kind of combines the best of both worlds. So you do have a pretty tall glass itself, which allows the bubble to travel from the bottom of the glass to where you pour it at, but it also gives you enough width for you to swirl the champagne, and enough area, and also enough room for you to stick your nose in to enjoy the aroma of a champagne. So right now you will see a lot of these glasses at fancy trendy new restaurants, and a lot of the wine lovers are starting to use this glass, and I absolutely highly recommend it. If you try having your champagne in one of these glasses and one of the flutes, you will be able to notice a significant difference on the aromatic of the champagne coming out of the glass. So give this guy a try. All right, so I understand you might be skeptical and you might have enough glasses already, and you might ask, well, I don't really want to buy another glass just to serve my champagne in. So if you don't want to buy the tulip shaped glass because you don't drink champagne as often, and or you don't feel like making this investment yet, I can recommend you use one of these, the all-purpose glass. So the AP glass or all-purpose glass are also absolutely perfect for serving your champagne. The key is you wanted to give champagne a little bit more room than the traditional flute, but not so much room like the Coupe back in the 1920s. So something like this, a tulip shade, or something like this, an all-purpose wine glass, will be fantastic to serve your champagne next time. Why don't you give it a try and let me know your result below. And if you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my mailing list at ngsound.com, where you'll see a weekly recap of all the wine videos I made that week, and you will find some of the coolest wine deals that you will not be able to find anywhere else. With that being said, live and drink passionately.